Right, welcome back everyone. New video. This one is about driving in Australia compared to the UK and what we've noticed.
It's not as easy as you would think, even though we're driving on the same side of the road.
It's very different, the roads are bigger.
And for me, the biggest thing is the roundabouts. So don't get me wrong, we're used to a good old roundabout coming from the UK. But what's the difference with the roundabouts here?
So over here, most of them have got like double lanes. So whereas back in England, the right lane would only turn right, left lane would turn left or straight on. Whereas this one, you can go left and straight on or round in the left lane as well, which is love that one, don't you?
No, I don't, because I'm super cautious because I don't know when to go. It takes me a time to think about what's going to happen because I don't like it.
So the roads are wider. So you've got most places have got like, well, especially in towns anyway, you've got like a little lane for parking on the side of the road or a bike lane. Whereas the UK, you've just got two lanes. So if a car's parked on the side of the road, you've got to wait and give way. That brings us on to another subject. Giving way to people over here. A lot of them don't acknowledge you. It's like back in England, like if someone pulls in and waits for you, you go like, right.
Oh yeah. In England, everyone is very driving politely, and pedestrians have right of way, and everyone gives way to each other. And here it feels more like, well, I heard someone define it as rules of the road. So you do get the odd occasional person that will let you out or give way, but generally we found that you just have to wait your turn.
They do give way to pedestrians, especially at crossings. Like if anyone's near the crossing, literally cars will stop. Although we did have somebody on a red P the other day, literally just shot straight across the walkway.
Yep, so that's the other thing about drivers. You'll see drivers driving around with not just L plates but P plates in red and green. And those are drivers that have just passed their test recently, and there's all sorts of rules to do with passing your test over here and what you can and can't do and what plates you have to have. So that's also interesting. The other thing that's quite confusing is parking signs. So parking signs are just like...
Yeah, you've got like 1p, 2p's, or there's a 24p.
And then there's arrows everywhere, and you have to work out where you can and can't park. Also, there's rules around parking, so you can't be on the left-hand side of the road and just pull into a space on the right-hand side of the road. You have to park on whichever side of the road
Yeah, so like flow of traffic, so you can't literally see a spot over the right-hand side and go in that way, facing the wrong way of traffic. And same with, like it says, like rear end in or front end in.
There's a lot of diagonal parking here as well, so I don't enjoy that either.
Not learned that skill yet of literally swinging out, reversing straight in. There's fines as well, aren't there, if you don't do it properly.
So it's lucky there's so much parking everywhere here, because you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Fines is another thing, so there's a lot I think is very easy, well, not easy, but I think there's more chance of getting a speeding fine here because there seems to be a lot of cameras.
They're alright very early, like I'm driving to work some mornings, we're talking about 4:30, 4:45 in the morning, and there's police speed vans, and they're not like the UK ones where they've got reflective strips on and you can pretty much see them a mile away. These look like vans, just normal vans parked up the side of the road. It's ideally you shouldn't be speeding or whatever, but...
And I feel like in England there's lots of rules around when they can catch you speeding with cameras. I don't think they can... Like, cameras that are fixed are different on the motorway or whatever, but the ones that just sort of turn up in ad hoc locations, I don't think they're allowed to be there when it's dark. I don't think they're allowed to be there in really bad weather. Whereas here, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure I've seen them either in the dark or when it's been quite bad weather. So
yeah, in the UK you've got to have the signs up as well. You've got to be in an area where there is speed signs, so that's different.
So do you prefer driving over here or back in the UK?
Here.
If you've watched our other video of when we went back to the UK, we recorded some footage just to show you how narrow the roads are and how terrible and full of potholes they are. Here the roads are really good. They take really good care of them, and yeah, it's much easier to drive on them than driving in the UK, where you practically sharing the same lane with the cars on the other side.
Yeah, got a lot more room over here, I think. And ample parking, pretty much for where to anyway, is decent. It's just bigger, but you gotta look at the size of England compared to Australia and you wonder why. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's a few other abbreviations we got for the viewers. So you've got servo, what's that?
Service station.
And then you got rego.
Registration.
So that's like car tax basically, and that you pay. You could do monthly, 6 months or a year, I believe, or 3 months. But yeah, it looks like they actually spend their money on the roads instead of some person's back pocket. But we won't talk about that. 'Cause
So, all in all, although it's different, we're much happier driving over here. And
I do notice though, when it's summertime, it does affect the cars. I don't know if you notice it as much, but obviously a lot of hot air, and whereas cars like cold air, 'cause it's more dense. Hot air over here, your cars do tend to, well, I find mine a bit more sluggish or a bit juddery at sometimes, where a lot of things are overheating or whatever. So that's one notice. Obviously aircon is pretty much all year round. It's not so much this time of year, like winter is a bit, although it's still bearable, like you just have the window open, whereas summertime you need the aircon on because it's like getting a greenhouse. Everything's hot, like your steering wheel's on fire, but then you can put your... Do notice you got windscreen covers are a lot more used over here, aren't they? So yeah, another difference we seen one not long ago, did we? And that is wildlife on the side of the road.
yeah, especially kangaroos. And look out for the odd koala up a tree, or even crossing, and even more special, crossing with its baby.
Yeah, so I think I did see one a while ago in the morning on the way to work. I just seen the end of a little fluffy backside scuttling across the road and shot up a tree. So yeah, you got to kind of have your wits about it. I think I've been told stories about kangaroos. They're like, oh yeah, look, it's nice bouncing along side, and then all of a sudden they just shoot across because obviously they don't have the Green Cross code in kangaroo school, I don't think.
Yep, so yeah, there's always signs to be careful, and usually if there's been recent kangaroo sightings or koala sightings, there's signs to remind you to slow down and be careful. And yeah, obviously you don't want to hit one of them, and they're going to do a lot of damage to your car anyway, the
And other kangaroos. Yeah, they're not bomb proof, but they do put a lot of damage in your car. Also, back on traffic signs, what's another funny sign we've seen? Aged.
Oh yeah.
So instead of like elderly, you've got aged.
Yeah.
And the pedestrian crossing ones look quite funny. They're like Michael Jackson's trousers and shoes. We'll put up pictures of those, they're quite funny.
Yeah, and during the hours of 7 till 9, Monday to Friday, it's classed as school zone traffic. So whenever you're near a school, you need to abide by the speed limit, which is always reduced.
To 40 k's, I think, isn't it? Yeah, so yeah, 7 till 9 and 2 till 4. And they also tell you when you listen on the radio, you get the school zones in action.
Yeah, and going back to Ks, everything here is kilometres rather than miles.
Yeah, that's getting used to as well, isn't it? So you think, oh, I'm doing like 80 k's, but it's only probably like 60, 50 miles an hour.
I did think that would confuse me when we came here, but it's actually fine because your clock on your car is in kilometres, and the signs on the road are in kilometres, so everything's in kilometres. So even if you normally work in miles, it doesn't matter.
That's quite funny. Like when we first came here, we were like 110. So wow, that's. And it's like, oh, that's kilometres. So it's probably like 70 miles an hour. But yeah, fuel prices. That's a big kind of difference over here. So I think that's fluctuated. I think sometimes I've seen it $2.20 maybe at the most per litre. Whereas UK is, well, when we were there, it was £1.60.
There are apps though, aren't there? So you can, if you're in a location where you see a really cheap fuel price in a certain service station, you can fix your fuel price.
Yeah, for a week. I think it's 7-Eleven. So if you download their app, My 7-Eleven, select the fuel. So once you've literally locked that price in, you can't change to a different fuel. So if you select E10, you've got to use E10 or super unleadeds. But yeah, it's quite good within the local area. Search who's got the cheapest fuel, and then you can say, right, well, I've locked that price in at your cheapest area, and you can use it in any 7-Eleven, which is quite good. Road trips. So we have noticed that Aussies don't really care how long it takes to get somewhere, whereas being from England, an hour or so is quite a bit of a rubbish drive, whereas here they won't bat an eyelid. An hour is just pop into the shops.
I think obviously they're just more used to it than we are because it's so massive.
Yeah.
They've always had to go far for things, and so that's just a way of life. Whereas, yeah, we're always a bit shocked at how far Australians will travel.
If you like say, oh, it's 2 hours away, like, oh, can I borrow that? And they're like, yeah, that's nothing. So, okay, fair enough. But yeah, I think, but it is a little bit easier driving over here, whereas England's a lot stop-start. The roads are a bit rubbish, tighter.
Yeah, but like somewhere in UK, if we travelled an hour to somewhere in UK, we wouldn't be doing that trip every day or every week. Like that would be like a once off, maybe once a month.
Yeah, special trip. But yeah, here you can go, oh yeah, I drove like down to Sydney in one hit. It's like, oh, okay. It's like 8 hours or 9 hours, I think it took someone. But yeah, I don't think I could drive. Well, I could do it, but yeah, back in England that wouldn't get you anywhere really.
So we give it a thumbs up. If you liked our video, please also give that a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. It's completely free and it really helps grow our channel.
So we'll catch you in the next video.